What's going on, folks? It's D. White, founder of JustBlackThoughts.com, and these are just my thoughts as one black male educator. This goes out to all my first year, any teachers out there. Today's topic is initial surveys. So at the beginning of the year, you're getting kids' names, you're getting your seating charts. I think one of the things you can do the first week of meeting the kids is to give them a survey with questions like, what does it look like when you're engaged? What does it look like when you're disengaged? What does it look like when you're really excited about something? What does it look like when you're not excited about something? I think that gives kids a choice and voice to kind of give you data points on this is how they see their learning, right? It gives them a little bit of autonomy, it gives them a little bit of ownership. And again, you get information as a teacher, you get reference data. Now, some of your kids may have never been asked this question before, and you may feel like, well, how reliable will their qualitative responses be? You don't know, but I think it's a good reference point. And at the end of the day, it gives you kind of like a contract in some sense. It's not a contract as in binding, but it gives you reference in that, hey, when you sit down with a kid for parent-teacher conferences or just checking in with kids throughout the month, the week, however often you check in with kids, you can say, hey, such and such, you said you learn best when X, Y, and Z happens. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like you demonstrated that? So it just becomes a way of creating individualized learning experiences for kids. And again, it helps you become more precise and accurate with how you differentiate and how you deliver instruction. And it's really helpful when you're teaching, you're up there, teaching, and you look at a kid's face like, oh my God, they're totally disengaged. But then, you call them and they raise their hand, they know exactly what's going on. So it helps you expand your understanding of what engagement is when you hear from their mouths, right? Some questions you can ask from that survey, make it your own. Some questions I like to ask: what was something that was really helpful that your teachers in the past have done for you? What is something that your teachers have done in the past to make you feel seen? What is something your teachers have done in the past when you get stuck or when you feel like you're stuck? And on the flip side, you student, what have you done when you've gotten stuck? How do you get unstuck? They'll jot a couple sentences, and you could always come back to this survey and bulk it up and have kids further reflect. If anything, it's an invitation for students to be self-reflective about their learning experience, as well as it gives you the opportunity to be reflective about your teaching experience and how you're delivering instruction, how it's landing for the young people. So why does this matter to me as a black male educator? Well, I was a decent student, but I knew a lot of my peers, specifically my male peers, and I think it's true today that a lot of boys are sent out of class, they're kicked out of class, they're labeled, they're mislabeled, they're pathologized, they're kicked out, and essentially they're outcasted, they're exiled from the community, right? For whatever reason. And I'm not saying that kids are not accountable and kids don't have some culpability, but I'm saying, what are some ways we can help a young person stay in class, stay engaged, and for them to know when things are going well for them and when things are not going well? I think what tends to happen is teachers will sometimes just send them to the counselors, but I think there's some legwork you can do within your classroom before you push a kid out and before they leave your classroom. And again, as a black male, I just knew a lot of black boys have been sent out. I've definitely kicked some kids out when I was in my first years of teaching, but more and more I've thought to myself, how do I keep them in the room? Because society wants to kick them out, society wants to criminalize, society wants to put them behind bars. So what can I do to stop that cycle, that school to prison pipeline within my classroom? So these are just my thoughts. I'm one black male educator, and yeah, I'm loving the weather in Kona. I'm in the Hawaiian island of Kona. It's beautiful. I'm poolside recording this video. But I thought this would be important to you, especially for our first year teachers. Get you some initial data points and use those as ways to kind of make the learning more specialized, more customized, more individualized. All right? Peace.